What's up, everybody? Tiffany Outdoors here. Today I want to get rid of this rack in my kitchen. There's the hawk. Before there was a Tiffany Outdoors, there was Tiffany the farmer.
On a U-turn when possible.
No, we're not U-turning.
Hi. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, Boo.
So this rack here is going away. I want to get rid of it, and I want to build a pot stand for this plant here. This plant belonged to Joe's mother, and when she passed away, we brought it here along with a few other plants, but this one here is the biggest one, and I want to build a special stand just for this pot, and it's going to be right here in this window. And I want to get rid of this rack, and those down there are some experiments that Joe is doing, and I'll be moving those into her office. So that's going away. I'm gonna break that rack down, put it out in the shed, and have just a special spot for this plant. Alright, let's go outside. It's really cold outside, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead outside. I'm going to cut the wood, and then I'm going to come back in and give you guys the measurements and everything. It's really cold out there and breezy, very, very breezy. Now come back in, put it together, and give you guys the measurements. So I'll be right back. First, I want to start off with what I'm using. I'm using this poplar, and it's 1 inch by 1 inch square, and it's 36 inches long. And I'm going to be using these at their full length. You can decide however high you want your plant stand to be. And in order to reach the window, I am going to need all 36 inches of this. So I didn't cut off any length on these. So these are going to be the legs. Now, the next thing you need to do is figure out how wide your pot is. So my pot is 9 inches wide, and I cut these at a little bit longer because I wanted to have just a little bit of space for the pot. I didn't want it to be tight. So I cut these at 9 3/4. No, my pot is 9.5 inches wide, and I cut these at 9 3/4, so I cut them a 1/4 inch longer. And then I'm going to tell you how I got these. Y'all, okay, let me show you the length of this. And this is just specifically for my measurements. It's right at 4 3/8. But I did not measure this with a tape measure. Let me show you how I got this. This is going to be hard to explain, but stick with me. So what I did was I found the center of the piece of wood that's the width of my pot. Found the center of that. Now I know that these are 1 inch, so I had to go 1/2 inch on that side of the middle, and then 1/2 inch on this side. And that right there will give you your full inch. So you try and center this a scrap piece on there as best as you can. And then you're going to take your wood and go like this. And then you're going to mark underneath and cut that. And that is what we're going to use to connect these. So you're going to need two like this. You'll have 3 pieces like that. And what's going to end up happening is you got two like that. It's going to interlock like this, and it should be a nice snug fit. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Alright, so you don't need an exact measurement. You don't need this tool here. You don't need this tool. You don't need a tape measure to measure out 4 3/8. Just use what you have, and that will uncomplicate crazy measurements like 4 3/8. Y'all, as much woodworking as I do, I don't know all of these. Look, I could do quarter, half, and 3/4. All that gobbledygook in the middle, like between that 3/8 and a 1/2 inch, like, I don't know what that is. So if I have a weird measurement, I just call them tick marks, and I just count the tick marks. So if that's what you have to do, that's what you got to do. All right, what I'm going to go ahead and do now is glue these up and clamp them. I have some small clamps there, so I'm going to glue up both of these pieces here. Glue them both up. And I'm going to be using this Tight Bond 2 Ultimate because it's waterproof. Because, you know, a plant's going to be in it. It's possible that water will be leaking or be spilled and stuff. So I'm going to be using the waterproof glue. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and glue these up, clamp them, and then we'll move on from there. And I'll show you what I'm going to be doing next. So for this project, you also will be needing some dowel pins. And I got 1/4 inch by 1 1/4. And I'm going to be using these to connect this part to the actual leg. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, let's do this first. I'm going to go ahead and glue these, clamp them, let them dry, and then I'll come back to you. Alright, we're going to leave these clamped for 30 minutes. I'm going to come back and then we're going to continue. I've already taken the clamps off and I kind of test fit this, and it's got a nice snug fit, and you want this to be nice and snug. You don't want it to be loose, so this is going to work nicely. Now we're going to move on to the legs. Alright, I got these nice and lined up. Now I want my pot to sit about 5 inches below this. So I'm going to put my little cross members right about 5 inches down. I want this top part to stick up just a little bit to kind of hug the pot a little bit. So I chose 5 inches. So I'm going to take my tape measure and make a mark. Oops. Let's get these lined up again. I want to make a mark and go across all 4 legs at the same time. I want to get this lined up as well as I can. Come down 5 inches. There's my 5-inch mark. There we go. And then I guess I could do this. Take my leg there and then make another mark here. So that'll give me a square right down the middle of this board here. Now the purpose of this square, that's going to tell me where I need to put my dowel pin. So I need to find the center of each one of these little squares here. And by doing that, I'm going to be using, oops, use this square here. Line this top up with that line there. Draw a line like that. That side, and then do the same on this side. And there's your center. Here's a quick tip. Now I need to find out how big of a drill bit that I need for this dowel rod. So I've got a piece of scrap styrofoam. I'm going to take my bit, stick it in the thing, and then see if my dowel fits in there. And it does. Alright, these dowels are, they are 1 1/4, so half of that is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take a piece of painter's tape and measure up 3/4 of an inch on my bit and wrap that piece of tape around it so that I don't drill my holes too deep. Let's see here. Get this. It doesn't have to be super accurate. You just don't want your dowel to go too deep into the hole, or else it's pointless. It doesn't. There we go. You want it to hold really well. There we go. All right. Now that I've got those done, now all I need to do is do these pieces here, the cross pieces. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my framing square and make an X on the end, using the board as the reference. I'm going to do this on both sides to find the middle. There we go. There's the middle. And I'm choosing to, let's see, how we're doing this. Boom. On this side. So on one set, you're going to need to mark the short pieces, and on the next set you need to mark the long pieces. That way it'll be the same height so that your cross laps will line up. This will make sense in a minute. It'll make more sense when you see what I mean. And then on this set, I'm going to do the long piece. Okay. This is my long piece. I'm going to make my X there. That way, and then that way. Got my X there, and the other side. Got my holes marked, and now I'm going to drill these out. Alright, I'm going to drop a little bit of hole in here and put in my dowel. we go. Hopefully that glue will drop down in that hole. Yep, and it is. All right, I'm just gonna tap that in. All right, now drop some hole in that glue. I'm gonna drop some glue in that hole, and now you got to be careful, guys. You want one side with this opening facing up, and then the other side you want that opening facing down, okay? Let's see here. Get that lined up and pressed down. Drop glue in the hole. And all here. Now, ideally, you want to clamp this, but all my large clamps are out in my shed, and I'm not going out there to get them. I'm just not. All right, I have this on the floor. I have a bit of wax paper underneath there, so it won't stick to the floor. It'll stick to that wax paper. I'm going to take my framing square. Make sure this is squared up. That side looks great. And, yep, that side looks awesome. Alright, and I'm just going to leave it there. It'll dry, and it'll be very strong. Ideally, like I said, you do want to clamp these. But my large clamps are out in the shed. And it's really dark and cold outside. I'm just going to be lazy about it. Alright, I'm going to do the same to my next side. And first thing I want to do is make sure that these holes are deep enough, because I think I didn't go deep enough. There we go. Making a mess. All right, I want to point out the opening is at the top, and on this one I need to put the opening at the bottom, so it's going to go facing down this time. It'll be facing downwards. Drop some glue down in that hole. Spread it all around. Give it a few bangs. Make sure it's seated firmly. Okay, and glue at the top. Drop it in a hole all around. Spread it. And then I'll take off all the excess glue. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna set this on the floor. Got both ends done. I'm gonna leave these overnight, let these dry. We're gonna come back tomorrow and finish this. Y'all, the glue has dried. Now it's time to paint these. And I'm going to paint it this color green. It matches my curtain kitchens just perfectly. Joe picked this color out. So I think this is going to look really, really good. All right, let's paint these things. All right, y'all, paint is almost completely dry. Moment of truth. So just take this, go here with it like so, and a little tight. You want it to be tight. It might be a little bit tighter because of the paint too. There he goes. It's going on. Rocking it back and forth gently. I don't want to break it. Now, if you want to, you can put a screw in here to hold these two pieces together permanently, but I don't think I'm going to need to do that. It's getting there. Like I said, you want this to be firm and tight. You don't want this to be rocking around. Let me go get a hammer so I can gently tap that in. Almost. Still almost there. I mean, it's right there at it. There we go. Now, it's a tiny bit wobbly, just a tiny bit. Now, in order to fix that, I could put something under there. Now you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get like those little felt pads and things like that to level this out. Let me get it in its spot. Maybe the floor is uneven enough to get it to where it'll be okay. Let me go get the pot and the plant and make sure that fits. Oh, nice. Oh, yay, it fits. It's got a little bit of space right there on it. Oh, yes, that looks good, y'all. Oh, my goodness. I like it. It looks nice. Oh, that's going to look fantastic. Oh, yes. I've decided that I'm going to use this shim. Look at that. That's going to be perfect under there. I'll be able to slide it under there and snap it off where I need to. And actually, I'm going to put a dab of some wood glue on there to glue it in place. And that'll fix that rocking problem. Y'all, that came out amazing, and the color actually matches my kitchen. I love the way that plant looks up there. That space is less cluttered now without that rack being there. I love it. I love the way it looks. Very happy with it. I hope Joe likes it. It's a plant that her mother left behind when she passed away, and I wanted to do something special with it, so I hope that she likes it. Alright y'all, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe this video if you enjoyed this for more builds like this. That way, you can join us. Join the Tiffany Outdoors gang, y'all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.